Oh, there we go. Nice and easy. Alright, I did my preparations, and yes, I found out where the sign is. If anything, it's kind of dumb for me to not notice it. It's right here. I'm gonna try to clean a couple of enemies first because the point of the quest line is to have the NPC perform a specific task. It's not taking an escort mission. I think the NPC can actually fend off himself, from the dangers, but just to be sure. Go. Yeah, in the meantime, Dweebs, I found out, while looking on my own, that Superman's release date for most countries is July 11th. The US, I have a preview screen just for the 8th, but that's it.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, this particular NPC, if you forgot, he's Hawkwood the Deserter, and he's basically the crestfallen knight that was present at the very beginning of the game at the Firelink Shrine. Basically the one that was telling us, just give up.
Well, he's changed his mind.
You just say that he has a personal reason to be here.
Oh, yeah, you resurrected him.
Oh no, it's more of a summoning thing from, a faraway place. Fuck. Hawkwood.
Ow.
I'm literally getting gangbanged.
Well, yeah, just have the bad guys burn each other.
That's not how it works. Hawkwood, don't leave me here.
See ya. Couldn't handle the pressure.
Ow.
Come on, that like this on your head will help you.
Let me ask you a question. Oh, Hawkwood really is that. Oh shit. Well, I will still try to do what he was supposed to do in the meantime. If I die still, I will try it again to summon him because, yeah, they're like now.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned that I've seen Return of Godzilla on here, have I?
No, you haven't yet.
Alright, well, specifically, Amazon Prime, which is the only way I can legally watch the film at the moment, only has the English dub.
And I can imagine it's not particularly great.
No, it isn't. It's full of the stuff you'd usually expect from a live-action dub at the time. Stilted acting, doesn't really match the lip movements half the time.
I do wonder if
The works.
I do wonder if MST3K or Rave Tracks tried to actually give a cover to one of these specific dubs. What kind of
Specifically, I saw the English dub of the original version, not Godzilla 1985, which is the American re-edit.
Okay.
That has Raymond Burr back from the American re-edit of the first movie.
Oh.
Although having seen at least clips of 85, one scene in particular really fascinated me, is that the scene in the original in which the Soviet guy tried to stop the nuke launching, whereas in the 85 version, because Murica had edited it so that he actively tried to launch the missile.
Because of course, my God, it was almost at the end of the Cold War, but they were still this petty. My God,
it was 1985.
Remind me again, when did Gorbachev actually went to power?
Mikhail Gorbachev.
Mm-hmm.
Let me check. Let me check. He came to power in 1985.
So the same year. To be fair, okay, there was still a bit of a fear, especially in the United States.
Yeah, he died. Not died.
Step
He was the
down.
last Soviet president before.
Yeah, the
Well,
dissolution
last
of the
general
Soviet
secretary
Union.
before the Soviet Union collapsed. I gotta say, I've seen the video footage of that. It was the end of the Soviet Union was pretty low key, all things considered.
It was pretty much a case where people saw the signs of coming from a mile away and they just waited the opportunity. This is why between the 90s, the 1990 and 1991, the former Soviet states of Eastern Europe
They all
actually
declared
gained
independence.
independence being very quick succession with each other. You know.
Yeah, and the actual end, there was a speech, and they lowered the Soviet flag over the Kremlin. That was really about it.
Alright, that should actually clear a bit more things up for Hawkwood. Ow, get over here! My god, he did pull a scorpion on me.
But yeah, the actual divorced from the subpar English stuff. The film was actually quite good. It was a return to form for the series after the terror of Mechagodzilla aside, the pretty weird standard of Godzilla films in the 70s.
Alright, let me quickly explain, because again, there are no more enemies, so let's see. Well, Hawkwood is clearly going on a pathway on his own instead of actually following me. This is why I cannot even summon him for the boss. He will just use a black crystal separation to just poof away. You remember the altar where there was nothing?
Mm-hmm.
He goes here, performs the Dragon Communion gesture, and then poofs away. So, let's try to do what he did. Why not? And we get the Twinkling Dragon Torso Stone. Basically, combine that with the head that we acquired after defeating the Wyvern, we are now able to fully transform into a dragon with these. It's not a good looking design, trust me. It was pretty much subjected to wild mockery by the entire community for how bad it looked compared to the dragon design from 1 and 2. I don't know who dropped the ball in the design, but jeez.
It also has, in my opinion, the best non-Akira Ifukube music score of the series.
Who did it?
Reijiro Koroku.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job having his own themes for the series. I don't think any of them were used again.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, they were good ones at least. So hats off to them. I have Godzilla vs. Biollante on Blu-ray. I'll watch it at some point, especially considering the rather controversial composer of that film is no longer around.
Okay. All right.
It was the Dragon Quest composer.
Yeah. I know who you mean. All right. I think it's time to properly greet the other boss of this area, which means ring the bell, and it says nothing will remain once the bell has tolled. Time for God, and impossible. So let's give it a try, shall we?
Oh, the lever, Crunk.
There's only one lever in this case.
Yeah, it would have been funny if it was the wrong lever and he fell.
I heard someone was actually complaining about the weather, so let's try to do something about it.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
But it begs the question, for whom the bell tolls?
5. It's not 5 up to 6. 7.
I love how the ad constantly creep. We literally summoned a storm.
Thank God.
Time wrong. It's 7. It's not 7 o'clock.
Which also means that the passage now is actually having solid clouds that we can walk on.
Ah, now this looks more like Dark Souls.
Now this is like okay. This scenario is straight out of Journey to the West. Like, it's amazing how they managed to actually cross-reference different things, pop culture on their sleeves. Anyway,
Bring the sun back. I can't see shit.
that's our boss for today, the Storm King, I think it's called, make your own MLP joke. He's frying what is supposed to be a giant chicken, but it's supposed to be a dragon but looks like a giant chicken. Let's see if I can manage to actually clip. Oh god, I'm dealing so little damage.
Dragons are basically chickens.
This is gonna be a problem. Oh, this is... oh fuck! This is plumed, so... Very little. Oh, ow! Yeah, the problem also...
You're fighting the King of the Storm.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, the translators basically fucked up because the name of the bosses should be the same for both phases, because yeah, it's not just one, of course. But for some reason, the first one is just labeled King of the Storm because they probably believe that that's inside the name of the steed, but no, that's not really the case. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. Okay, the head actually received more damage, so... To be fair, kinda makes sense, you just smack the neck of the beast with a claymore, so... Ow. And yeah, again, the film is absolutely amazing. Okay. Okay, now it's doing much better. Yeah, it's been a while since I faced this guy, so that's why I'm also a bit rusty on that. Oh, fuck. Yeah, and it killed me. Okay, it's probably still doable, but it requires a bit of tuning. So let's try one more time. If I don't manage to do it, we'll just move on and I'll practice off screen. Especially because, again, we're still stuck. We need to beat both the princes, the twin princes, and the DLC. So there's still, stuff for us to look at.
But yeah, in terms of the Godzilla tier list, I'm gonna wait on updating that until I've seen more of the movies, because Criterion, they are working hard to get the rights to the films, but they still got a long way to go. They've only just released the one from 1989.
Mm-hmm.
There's still quite a few left.
I forgot, are the more recent anime movies available to you? Because, those are more recent, so we should theoretically have, not have as many problems. So...
Yeah, I don't really care too much about those.
No, I know that the quality of those is more questionable because of, reasons, but I don't know, I think you should still give it a try.
But as of now, in terms of... Okay, I won't rank each and every single one because otherwise we'd be here all day. I'll just say, in terms of my favourites so far, I'd say the original from '54, the original Japanese version of Versus King Kong from '62, and the recent -1 movie.
Forgot, have you seen Shin Godzilla yet?
No, but I have it on Xbox.
Keep in mind that, like I said, it is standalone and it's more of our imagining of the first movie, so...
Yeah. In terms of my least favourites, it's the second film, Godzilla Raids Again, Son of Godzilla.
Obviously. God,
Yeah.
really such a terrible thing.
Godzilla versus Hedorah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I know the 70s only just started, but that film is basically one of the worst tropes of 70s movies, being trippy just because.
Obviously.
Then the 1998 Godzilla, then the 2014 one, then the American version of King Kong versus Godzilla, the American adaptation of it, not Godzilla versus Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And the absolute worst is All Monsters Attack from 1969.
Nice.
Yeah, it's well, yeah. I mean, it's got everything: overuse of stock footage, crappy-looking original fights in the first place, annoying kid characters. Oh, and a terrible message.
Obviously. It was
Yeah.
still the 60s, so of course the PSA needed to be atrocious.
Yeah, want to get back at your bullies? Impress them by harassing a poor man who didn't deserve it. Yeah, and okay, I'm actually so glad that wasn't the last film Ishiro Honda directed for Godzilla, because he directed the original and quite a few in the 60s. So, because if he'd ended on that thing, I would have left such a sour taste in the mouth. But no, his last film was the last Godzilla of the original series in '75. Terrible Godzilla.
Stand still, there you go. Okay, first phase done. But, obviously, it's not over yet. Because,
you drink as the dragon falls.
well, yeah, like a Chad. Here's the thing. The king of the storm was actually kind of attached to his steed. Although, despite the fact that he's, not willing to do it in order to actually keep his honor, he consumes its power to become more powerful. A bit similar to how Hornstein and Smog in the first game gain power to each other. And as you can imagine, we pissed him off. So, in case you're wondering about some lore drop, it will be confirmed by Soul and everything, but this is Gwyn's firstborn, the guy that was actually, repelled from the annals. So that's what happened. He basically was instead attached to dragons, and as a result, paid the price by being blacklisted from his family. It's very tragic as a result. Oh, fuck me. Alright, we'll give it a try another time. Again, like I said, this is the most difficult optional boss in the main game, so... But it's doable, as you can see. It just requires a bit of patience. Alright, let's return to Fire Shrine, because the behavior that Hawkwood had feels a bit strange. I don't think it happened on camera. One of the last things that happens before this moment is that, talking with Andre, he tells us that he went away, that Hawkwood went away on a quest and gives us his shield. So maybe actually he can give us some insight about what happened.
Oh, you've returned. I was hoping to see you.
I was
That
hoping to
crestfallen
see why.
Hawkwood he handed
It's
me.
it's an accent it lives. I don't know what
He's changed a great deal since he
accent
left
is
this
that.
place. Graven of face, he asked me to give it ye.
Gives us Hawkwood Swordgrass.
Well, now that that task is concluded, what would you have me smith today?
Sorry, I'm kind of done
Buddy,
with
be
this meeting
careful.
for now. Yeah. Let's check out the item that was given to me. The grass. Message from Hawkwood, kept by the blacksmith. Bloodstained swordgrass above Hawkwood, deserter of the Undead Legion. Traditionally, the Undead Legion of Pharaoh sends the gravest of messages using swordgrass. Come to the mausoleum in Pharaoh, only one can take the path of ancient dragons. Seems that this guy wants to challenge us in combat, so let's give it a try, shall we? We need to go back all the way to... yeah, the Pharaoh perimeter. It's actually a better place, because if I recall correctly, if I spawn directly at the Pharaoh Keeper's bonfire, it wouldn't make it spawn. Alright, let's get to this second time. Ow. Sorry, I don't have time for you.
Go away.
Leave me alone, I'm busy. There he is.
I should have known. Well, I've decided to stop running from my fate. Loathe me or love me, I shall take what makes you dragon.
Basically, we need to challenge. It's a wolf challenge of sort, and coincidentally, because he's also having the Undead Legion of Pharaoh's great sword, you know, we're kind of evenly matched.
I have played the recent Tomb Raider remaster release
How was it?
of 4, 5, and 6. The remasters themselves are solid.
Angel of Darkness still sucks, so yeah.
Yeah, Angel of Darkness. Yeah, it's still a shit game. It's still awkward to control. It's still got buggy AI. It's still got weird looking graphics, even with the HD coat of paint. And Lara's still a complete cow.
Anyway, we're pretty much done with Hawkwood. I'm surprised I did manage to beat it first try. I did not thought I would be able to do it, but, you know, good enough. Now, let's give it a try again to the princes. If we don't manage to do it, we'll start the DLC. Basically, the gimmick with Hawkwood was that if he actually had beaten me, he would have stolen the dragon torso stone, and I would have needed to get back by defeating him. That's basically his quest line. Again, he's crestfallen, despite the fact that he was part of the Undead Legion of Pharaoh, and he tries to find new solace in dragon worshipping, but cannot actually bear the idea of you basically taking over. Alright. Oh no, right, I forgot that there has to be... I forgot where the elevator from the other party is, but whatever. Yeah, let me actually give it a try, but because I don't remember exactly where was that elevator from. Oh no, now I remember. Okay, now I know what road to take. It's been a bit, admittedly. I think the Eclipse is still around somewhere. I forgot where exactly it is. Especially because in the meantime I did another quest line that wasn't particularly important to look at. This is why I just, did not have it on camera. Which is should be net as a help from another NPC, ideally. So let's give it a look. Why did so many people throw themselves out from the elevator? Because you need to remember, didn't remember, the bloodstains represent players that actually have died on that spot. So just feels weird as shit.
Why did they do that?
Yeah, that's the thing. They do that in every single game. There are a couple of spots where the players just decide to die in weird shit just for the lulz. Alright, let's see. There it is. There's one symbol. Series of the Sunless Realms. Again, summoning her should boost up the HP of the princess, but for the distraction given it should be fine. Alright, let's give it a go.
Well, we're off to a good start.
Well, it happens. But this is why well, to be fair, again, the Estus Flask right now are powerful enough. Yeah, I'm actually doing much better with this, and if I recall correctly, compared to last time, the sword had been powered up, so...
Can you knock that crown off his head?
Sorry. I think it's possible to gain the armor set, but here's the thing, after defeat the first prince, it's not over yet, of course. Remember, these two brothers are very connected with each other, but Prince Lothric, despite being clearly more meek, is still willing to actually help his brother. In the first phase, he was the one who was teleporting him around. So, just to make sure that he will defeat us, they will actually properly unite their forces. Not in a fusion kind of way, but Lothric is gonna provide more direct support.
For that is our curse.
This is also gonna be the gimmick of the second phase. Lorien will keep going until you actually defeat Lothric, and we do not share a health bar, so you need to make sure that you attack both of them and deplete properly their health. And as you can imagine, because of the imagery and the situation, this whole fight is super tragic, in true Dark Souls tradition. It does the whole, are we the baddies kind of, deal.
I mean, probably.
The first game had a more idea on how to make definitely a grey, morality by showcasing, by showcasing how neither serpent was really the correct choice, and you were just, being played around like a fool. If I recall correctly, if you dwindle too much, also Lothric will start healing around both him and his brother, so you need to watch out. Ah, I forgot that there's the extra small bit. Again, it's still doable, but I'll grind some more off screen. Let's not waste too much time. It is still, a path we need to take because, defeating the princess unlocks literally the final boss. So, we eventually will need to get back here. So instead, let's go to... where is it? Yeah, the Cathedral with the bonfire. Because there's gonna be, if I recall correctly, the event that nets us into the DLC right in the chapel. So we don't need to use the fire bonfire that's directly in there, but the one that is situated a bit before. Alright, here we go. It also means we need to track a bit against these enemies, but honestly, at this point they shouldn't really pose much of a threat. So... Why? Okay, maybe the dogs need to take care of because they seem to be a bit persistent. There you go.
Merciful goddess,
we have a praying knight knelt at the altar.
Their own. Please bear witness to our resolve. Fire for Ariandel.
Ariandel? Where did I have heard that name before?
And the ash to kindle flame.
Could this be a good fellow? I wonder. Alright, let's talk to him.
Wait, you've the same scent as that woman. Then you must be an Ashen One.
Well, that I am.
You must be. Oh. You don't know how long I've searched. Oh.
Okay.
You gonna kill us?
Don't mind me.
Why would you do such a thing, Shiroi? You will need to have a good motivation.
I have a kindness to ask of you. My lady lives in the cold land of Ariandel. I need you to show her flame. A proper flame that will burn the rot away.
Whatever the hell that means, buddy, but sure, I got the time, I guess.
It must be fire that you seek.
I mean, it shouldn't be too much of a deal, but where is the way?
They of ash never fail. Just a moment, then. The painting of Ariandel. Well, rotted scrap of it, that is. Go on. Take it.
Oh, goody. It's another magic painting. You know what that means.
Don't.
We're getting sucked again inside Mario style. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
You're an idiot.
I mean, he's not killing you.
He'll be sucking you away.
That's the way to get to Ariandel with. If you forgot, there was a similar way in the first game with the painting world of Ariamis. So it seems that the painters do have similar names.
Well, that could have gone better.
Alright, we're dropping a small cave with this charming fella, you know, wanting to having these guttural verses.
Have you just arrived? How very unusual. Just how long has it been?
About a minute.
Rejoice, my new friend. For this is a true haven of the forlorn, the cold and gentle painted world of Ariandel. Quick, go along. Find one for yourself. A sweetly rotting bed to lie upon.
Not sure what you mean by that, but...
Yes, of course. You're no exception. We've all seen terrible things. But you're safe now. Let it ease your burden. Ariandel will make a fine home for you. So, go on ahead. Find one for yourself. As sweetly...
Okay, you're a charming fellow to talk to. Anyway, this is the first major DLC released for the game, the Painted World of Ariandel, and appropriately, similar to the first game, it's a wintry kind of landscape. We're recording this at the end of June. Anyway, go on, Dweebs, while I move myself in this landscape.
Won't get too much into it right now, but it's been 2 years, roughly,
Go on.
since the Activision buyout by Microsoft occurred. Notice any differences aside from you-know-who not being there anymore?
Well, I know that the studios, you know, from Activision so far have actually had more leeway, which also led to stuff like the... Well, okay, not by Beanox themselves, but, you know, the creation of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. I also know that...
The unionization and Microsoft's seemingness not to get in their way too much.
Again, it's a bit more complicated because of other stuff that Microsoft is doing, but again, I know that it sounds really, you know, worrying, especially considering what happened to Tango Gameworks, you know, and other Bethesda studios, but I can tell that staying with Bobby Kotick really would have not helped, you know, things out that much, and he was not really willing to give up.
Well, I mean, he's gone at least, so...
I think it's still, you know, doing damage somewhere else. I don't remember where, but I don't care.
I don't know much about anything.
Anyway, as you can, the first enemies that we find here are these soldiers, the Forlorn, as they're called. Again, despite these DLC and everything, they make sure to not having reskins, power swaps of enemies all the time. There are a few things here or there, but for the most part, the enemy variety is completely new. So I know it's a bit hard to see because of the wintry storm, but we will have better occasions, more, you know, moving onward.
Although, speaking of Microsoft, I will say, I have Game Pass, but I'm not going to lie, I am, a little part of me is tempted to at least try out the PS5 version of the new Gears of War remaster.
I mean, why not? Well, okay, mostly because, again, you don't really have a powerful enough PC, so that's probably because also that. But I can imagine that version might be the more comfortable in the end.
Yeah, who'd have thought it? I mean, Gears of War is like Microsoft's second most well-known exclusive.
Well, used to be, again.
Used to be, and now it's on PlayStation.
The paradigm shift. Again, it's just the landscape in general changing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what next? Are we gonna? All that's left now is to see Halo on PlayStation. Then the cycle will be complete.
Well, it would be more appropriate to say on Nintendo. But to be fair, again,
both.
before PlayStation, you know, Xbox did had a bunch of things popping up on the Switch. So, anyway, as you can see, unfortunately, now we have to defeat a pack of wolves. So I'm sorry, Shiri, we need to put down more pushes.
I think it's only Lego Horizon that Sony are directly.
Yeah, Freedom Wars...
directly released on the Switch, whereas...
Freedom Wars, Patapon, and Everybody's Golf / Hotshots Golf instead are handled by Bandai Namco, although Sony is still credited properly, so it's not like they gave out the IP.
As for what you just said, though, I mean, to be fair, like, they attacked you, and also, it's not like they made you watch them limp for ages with sad music, so you know.
Can't imagine what you're referring specifically. Oh, also, there's also this thing. Some of the trees are alive and they want to kill you.
Aw.
This is really assuming the connotation of a twisted fairy tale. Honestly, as I mentioned during the Neverending Story commentary, I still have the usual trauma of you know, wolves because of, you know, how they handled Gamork's appearance in the first movie. I know that I saw Bob Show's review of part of the animated series, and they really screw things over in that one, especially because in terms of it's already a mess up because it tries to merge, in terms of continuity, the events of the second and third movie, which is weird because, like, the queen of the second movie is still alive, but the events of the third movie possibly happened. And on top of that, Gamork is still alive, but he is just a wimp. It's so weird. I still actually have to see properly instead the mini-series, the one that is live action that was on in the early 2000s, but I don't have much high hopes. Again, it's kind of sad that Michael End got to see his creation, you know, disturbed with the two sequels and then died immediately after. It's kind of like the fact that the last Batman movie that Bob Kane got to see was Batman and Robin. Like, good lord. But there was also, in terms of, you know, wolves that terrified me as a child, they were also obviously the ones from Beauty and the Beast. Like, oh, speaking of giant wolves, here's another one. This one is big. Oh, and of course it has a whirlwind drill attack. Like, you're not a Shiba.
Well, it killed you, so...
Well, that just means we never actually fought hard enough with. That's the essence of getting good.
Yeah, if only if only I could follow that logic sometimes when it comes to certain games, because generally, because some games I just struggle for a bit and then just not touch it for a while.
Oh no, I get what you mean, Waves. The important part is to find your inner pace, you know, because, you know, it's not automatic that you will immediately manage to be stubborn enough to actually overcome any obstacle, you know, by the equivalent of slamming yourself onto a wall. That's not an automatic thing that happens to everyone. But it's about finding that kind of inner rhythm within you or something. It also depends obviously on the quality of the game, because some games are specific, like these ones, are specifically designed to be engaging enough to give you the whole just one more round. Let me try again to prove myself, While many others instead are much more ruthless and don't give a shit about you. It's like, we got your money, whatever engagement you find is up to you. I still need to
Stop
properly...
howling and busy.
Actually, we're going to say something about the deadline from Tomb Raider, leave you alone and busy.
Yeah, I already...
Oh, yeah, the fact that you experienced the new remasters, my bad.
Yeah, and
That's where that reference comes from?
yeah.
I thought for a while that it was instead the first live-action movie, but no.
We have to redo that one at some point.
Yeah,
First
why not? I might as well give it a try to review it a little bit. Especially because, again, the one that I remember seeing... I think I did remember seeing the first movie, but not much of my experience that I have. But I remember definitely seeing Cradle of Life. And again, the only two things that I remember from that movie are the sex scene, of course, and Angelina Jolie punching a shark in the snout.
Yeah, I really don't like Cradle of Life. It's...
That's sort of like...
Put it this way, I've seen Uwe Boll video game movies that are more entertaining.
Oh, goody. I don't remember exactly how it ends, but I do remember that the ending is also very bullshit.
Well, I mean, it's a Jan de Bont movie post-Speed, so basically all his movies post-Speed.
Basically. Okay, I need to remember Claire's Twister, this one...
Speed 2.
The remake of
Haunting.
The Haunting, yes.
And Cradle of Life.
Has he done anything afterward? I forgot.
I think he's basically retired now. I think he did like one more thing in his native Netherlands. That's about it.
Alright, see with me. Amaterasu. Ouch.
Also, Cradle of Life was such a criminal waste of Alan Silvestri too.
I guess his score was not particularly great. Remember again, who instead directed the 2013... No, sorry, the movie based on the 2013 series?
I have to look it up. It was basically more of a director for hire.
Oh, okay, so they weren't searching anyone for talent, but, just someone...
I mean, to be fair, raw or foul, he's from Norway.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but, someone needs to start at some point. Oh, but the Wolves it went down at the halfway point mark, and they gave me just a large Titanite stone. I'm sure it means nothing. And we will never see it again.
It's a shame, actually. I did kind of like the 2018 film.
Well, again, I can imagine now that Crystal Dynamics has more control over the IP, they might consider eventually giving another try the movie. I mean, they did have the Netflix series, which again, I personally still don't like overall, but I would rather have an attempt to be made than nothing.
Well, we're not going to have another Alicia Vikander movie in regards to Tomb Raider because MGM's rights expired. And now we're gonna have a shared universe, including the TV series, a game, and a reboot of the film series from Amazon.
Sure, why not? At the very least, we know that
who also own MGM.
Yeah. Small world. Fuck.
So basically, MGM lost the rights, only to end up under a studio that has them.
It's like it's the equivalent of a person shaking their own hands like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
It's
you.
like when Obsidian had that really awkward
Yeah.
intro back with Bethesda.
It's like, Todd, I hope. What happened? We weren't supposed to see each other again.
No hard feelings.
And Todd is like, it just works.
How do people feel about the Sonic Cross Worlds reveals?
It's a bit all over the place from what I've seen. My question is, I posed also on the SSMB. Again, you bother to do this kind of, promotion with Nickelodeon, and you don't put Garfield in it? Are you high?
Garfield already has a kart racing game.
That's the point, Dweebs. That's what makes it work. That's the kind of a deal cross promotion that makes sense for this.
I know the games. I have generally a lot of faith in how Sonic racing games play, but I'm just not really having any sort of reaction to the crossovers at all.
Me neither, especially because again it just serves to reinforce the fact that Sonic stuff tends to be handled by Paramount these days. Good to know,
Because when they announced the name Crossworlds, I thought it would be from different Sonic universes, so some storybook stuff. We have the Riders stuff.
Well, I mean, they never said
didn't
that, to
expect
be
this.
fair, so...
Well, they never said the other thing either, but it's just
it's
little disappointing.
The closest
It's
you're
called
getting,
Cross Worlds, not Cross Dimensions.
The closest you're getting is, a couple of characters based around the variants from the Netflix series, so there is that. But honestly, I thought instead it was going to be a return to form with the All-Stars racing concept, which, to be fair, we did get, and if I have to be honest, analyzing the things that we got, at least for now, we don't know if more are on the horizon or not, those technically were IPs that, technically speaking, the fandom had requested back during the Transform days. Again, Hatsune Miku, Like a Dragon / Yakuza, and SMT / Persona. So I do wonder that if in a focus group kind of test, Sega did brainstorm and were like, okay, which IPs did people ask Sumo back in the day that they wanted to see? Let's do these. But instead the Nickelodeon stuff clearly is there just, for Sega getting a paycheck so that they have more financial support for the game. And honestly, the weird surprising thing is that, I don't know if you noticed, but recently, very recently, the other day, that I'm recording this, Sega did have a leak. This time nobody actually apparently stole data in this case, it was either a genuine accidental leak. That talked about their financial results that they not publicized. And there is a couple of stuff, the fact that, for example, Frontiers sold almost 5 million units overall, which is a lot. But the thing that... Fuck me, just 1 second. There you go. The thing that still surprised me the most is that Team Sonic Racing, despite having the down curve that we would have expected because of the fact that it lost players very quickly, because of a lack of content and the lack of support, it still consistently managed to sold at least 200,000 units per fiscal year. Which is not that...
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's not a small amount. Sure, it's still not a lot overall, but it's still solid as a curve. While I was thinking that instead would have not sold almost at all over time. But what people speculated to me is the fact that it's probably because the game being on sale a lot did help over the years, and a lot of people picked it up on Steam and PlayStation. So yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, going up this way instead, as you can see, leads us to more of these trees that want to kill me, including receiving frostbite kisses. Ew. Sorry, I don't want to be those. I don't want to build a snowman.
And that's why they want to kill you.
Of course. In case you need to know what the rules are for Frostbite, I don't think we didn't mention, because this is actually the game that got introduced them. Ah, fuck me. We had introduced those with the EDT Knights, and I got killed again. Okay, I will try to bomb rush it one last time. Basically, what happens is a bunch of my health, not a lot, but a good chunk of my health gets slashed away, and as long as the debuff is active, because I'm, frozen today, my movements are slightly slower, not a lot, but just enough to be an encumbrance. So it's that kind of debuff that it's not that problematic, but it's best if you still try to avoid it, because over the course of the games, stuff like poison, for example, became more negligible because it was supplanted by worse debuffs. But thankfully, in this case, the frostbite was actually more properly balanced, if you had to ask me, and it managed to return in the Elden Ring as a result. Alright, let's mosey down here. Alright, let's also deal with the wolves, because I am undefeatable. Oh my god, I just had to say it. Okay then, I think it might be a good point to stop now. We'll collect better our ideas, and next time, depending on how much I manage to work around in between, we'll see if I tackle again one of the bosses, or if instead we're just going to progress this, because again, this is literally just the start of the DLC, so there's so much to see. So, see you for that.
See ya.
See ya.